Greetings. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks, Sr., your host, and this is Community Focus. Today we're talking with Andrea Badden. She's an educator in North Chicago, and she's going to tell us all there is to know about Andrea and about her challenges that she's experienced in the educational system. Greetings, Andrea.
Hello, greetings to you.
We're very happy that you've taken time, literally from your busy schedule, to be with us on Community Focus. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrea is a person that you should know. Andrea, Lake County is approximately 750,000 people, but I don't know how many up at 5 o'clock this morning listening to the program, but it airs at 5 o'clock every Sunday morning in Lake County and also Kenosha as well. I would like for you, first of all, to tell our listening audience a little bit about your personal and professional background.
I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, migrated to the United States in 1970 at the age of 13. Attended Daniel Webster Junior High School, graduated from East Campus in Waukegan. Attended Bear College in Lake Forest, Illinois, or my bachelor's degree, my master's degree in education from Northeastern University, Illinois. And I have some postgraduate studies in education as well.
Tell us about Kingston, Jamaica.
Oh, Kingston, Jamaica is a beautiful place. You know, just like they said, no problem, man, no problem. Pretty laid back. If you want to just relax and enjoy life, it is the place to be. Sunshine, beautiful beaches, it's all there.
So if resorts is the primary highlight then, right?
Yes, it is. You know, the food is also delicious. Mm-hmm. I mean, Jamaican is known for their curry goat, curry chicken, and of course, jerk.
Okay. Well, tell us about, with all those attributes, why would a person want to leave Jamaica?
A lot of people, you know, migrate from other countries in order to seek a better life and a better opportunity. Mm-hmm. My mother migrated to the United States in 1967. Mm-hmm. She worked in private duty nursing. Mm-hmm. And, of course, 3 years later, she sent for my brother and I, Theodore. We came here to the United States. But a lot of times, you know, America is seen as the land of opportunity. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and I have experienced America to be just that. Mm-hmm. It is a land of opportunity. It is here if you make use of what is offered to you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, the sky can be the limit here for you. Mm-hmm. You know, in a lot of countries, sometimes, other countries, it may be a caste system, whether you have money or your socioeconomic background. But I think the average people in America has that opportunity to rise above their circumstances if they strive to achieve and to, you know, attain certain things.
As a matter of fact, education is the door that opens opportunity, right?
Yes, education is definitely the door that opens the opportunity. It is definitely the key to success. And it has been for me, you know, because coming here to the United States, going to college, and experiencing myself a lot of struggles. I went to college the first time, and then I kind of dropped out of college, went back, and the second time around, you know, as a single mom, struggling, raising a son, going to college, it definitely pays off. I can see where education has made a difference in my life, and because I see the difference that it has made in my life, that is why, you know, when I go into the classroom, I give 110% of myself because I want others to also experience the success that I have experienced in this profession or just in education, period.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, we're talking with Andrea Badden. She's an educator in the school district 187 in North Chicago, Illinois. And she's talking about some of the challenging experiences she's had in her life. Tell us about the challenging experiences that you've had in the field of teaching. I know there have been many challenges, right? No day is the same.
Well, no day is the same, but, some of the challenges, that I have faced is sometimes it's a lot of the actual changes, the pendulum swings, that's going on in education. And sometimes just having, the parent involvement in education, working with the students, is always a key factor. But some of the challenges, is like sometimes if you get Johnny, right now I'm teaching 5th grade.
Okay.
Sometimes you may get Johnny and he might be sometimes 3 grade levels behind.
Okay.
So it's trying to bring Johnny up to the place where he needs to be at the 5th grade level, academically, so he can function optimally, at grade level. It's a challenge, but
outside help is a great deal. In addition to parental guidance and parental help in the schools, there are also outside agencies that come into the school to provide reading assistance, for example, to the students, right?
Yes, we have quite a few of that. The only thing that I would really like, if we could get some of the people from this community to come in as well. Though we do appreciate the people that come in, and of course they have been effective and instrumental, but it would be nice to get more involvement from this community because, students a lot of times can identify, I think, more with people that they are familiar with. And there is a more of an understanding sometimes culturally. So having that added component with those that we get coming in from the outside will definitely be a key factor in helping our students to become more successful. Because sometimes if you have a clear understanding of who you are and where you're coming from and appreciate where you are and where you are going, I think a lot of times they're able to accomplish and achieve more, feeling good about themselves.
Well, Andrea, that's another challenge too, because to get local people to come into the schools, we have, you mentioned about culturally backgrounds and so forth. The parents in this area that you're teaching usually working during the day, or they work in 2 jobs and so forth. So it's a challenge for them to come into the schools during the day.
Yes, it is. It is definitely a challenge. And like I said, being a single mom myself and having had to work and do certain things in my life to be where I am today, I can certainly understand that dilemma. But, I would say for those who are able to, we would definitely appreciate it. And my hope is that maybe we may be able to have some evening type of parent involvement where we can bring them in then, even for those that are working in the day, to come in and have a lot of parent workshop and teacher-parent relationship with their students. I think would be very effective. We got to find a way around the problem.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you're emphasizing this because it is extremely important there be some relationship between the parents, teachers, and the students. if they are going to exceed. Because we talked about before the third grade level, there seems to be some connection there between the third grade level, and the success of that child through school. What's so important about the third grade level?
Generally between third and fourth grade, those grades happen to be the point where students seem to peak out. A lot of times students come to school, they're very excited in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and so forth. But at that third grade, it's very important. So, I do believe in early childhood education, because if they don't get it, at the earlier grade, when they get to third grade, this is where everything comes into play. Now you're moving away from being concrete, and they're getting more into the abstract concept. This is where everything is introduced to them, and so that is why the state also start their testing at the third grade level. Because, so if they don't have the background coming up to third grade, it is definitely a problem. But not to say that, they can't overcome from that point, but it is much more difficult. But we're able to, still work with them and bring them up. But it's very challenging at that point.
Because if they're having problems at third grade level, it's going to accentuate each grade level. They're going to get further and further behind. So by the time they get to the high school level, they have a tendency, if they can't keep up, to drop out. Now, another problem is that if the child drops out of high school, then they probably will get involved in some of the things that cause them to be incarcerated and then in imprisonment, and list goes on and on. And the cost to occupy the child in prison, what is it in Illinois, about $40,000 to $50,000 a year, and it's much less to educate a child. We maybe $8,000 to $10,000 to educate the child. And then in federal imprisonment, I think it's about $90,000 to $100,000 a year, for incarceration. So if we would get our legislators to understand that it's cheaper and more, it's more challenging to spend the money on education than it is for imprisonment. What about Jamaica? What about the educational challenges for youth in Jamaica?
For Jamaica, the thing about it is they have more of a discipline, type structure. And in Jamaica, it was more or less you have to pass a lot of government type examination in order to get into high school. Generally, they start high school there around 11, 12 years old.
Okay.
And your choices of school is kind of dependent more upon how you score on the governmental exam, the quality of education that you have. It also determines whether or not you're going to go into a white collar direction or a blue collar direction. That's what I like so much about America. You have that opportunity. The average student. Because if you don't start off like passing the test and going in the direction of the white collar in Jamaica that you need to go, sometimes you don't get that second chance.
Okay.
But in America, I believe that you do have that second chance and that opportunity for the average student to rise. And that's why even though third grade, kindergarten to third grade is crucial, I am still glad that there's still opportunity, with resources, with parents' involvement, with the community. I do believe in the concept where it says it takes a village to raise a child, because it takes all of us getting together for the cause, in order for that child to succeed.
This is fantastic. Another thing too, the influence of technology in the learning programs and the educational system. When I was coming through, because that's many years ago, there was no technology, no computers, and no iPads and so forth. But now this technology is introduced at the third grade level and maybe below. I don't know. Actually,
Dr. Brooks is introduced in preschool.
Oh my goodness! Okay.
It's amazing now to see little babies crying for a cellular phone so they can get on it, and they have this is definitely the information age.
Okay.
And yes, technology is important, and it is a key factor. I do believe the importance of integrating technology into our curriculum. Children, they're easily engaged, in the technology aspect of education. And sometimes when we miss certain mark in old school type teaching, we're able to bring in that technology and capture their interests. And in technology now, they have a lot of animated type educational learning tools and a lot of interactive things going on in education. So it definitely is a very good added piece into the educational arena.
At this point, I'd like to congratulate you and your school. It was highlighted in the local newspaper that your school attained the highest student achievement in Lake County and top 2% in the state of Illinois. And I'd like for you just to tell us a little bit about what you're doing in your school. I believe that was Forrestal School.
Yes, it was. Yes,
and that you're doing for the youngsters to achieve that. And that's highly complimentary.
Well, Dr. Brooks, when upon coming into my classroom the beginning of the school year, the first thing I do as a teacher, I have the student to own up to their education. I pretty much, I guess you could say, preach to them the importance of education and how much it will mean to their success in the future. A quote that I normally, not my own personal, say that, success is yours. Don't just wish for it, work for it.
Okay.
So I get them involved in the process where it's not about the grade. It's having them to see where you're going to go from here. What do you want to be when you grow up? Do you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer? Well, tell me what you want to be. Okay. Well, these are the steps that you need to take. So they get involved. That's the key factor. And also the principal getting on board and allowing me to have the flexibility and also providing the necessary tool for me to work with my student was also a key factor. And I am very proud of to say that yes, my student did score extremely high on the standardized tests.
And now there's been a change in the school. In other words, you no longer have up to fifth grade. You only have K through maybe second grade, I guess, right?
Yes, K through second and 3 through 5th.
Okay, so that's going to make a difference now. It's because the students are not tested, or they tested at the second grade?
Now, everyone is tested. The only difference is between 3rd through 5th, we now take the Parks test.
Okay.
which is a state mandated test.
Okay.
And from kindergarten through second grade, they're taking something called the Ames Web, which is to measure their fluency in reading, as well as like in second grade, they're tested now in the MAP skills test, which is to measure their academic aptitude as far as what they have learned thus far. So it's testing every grade now.
Well, if we could reflect back to John Dewey, he said that if we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow.
I believe that. Yes, I do believe that. The children today, because I have been teaching for 27 years.
Okay.
And the children that I taught 27 years ago, they're certainly different from the children of today. Okay. Parents are also different. Okay. The expectations are also different. So I do believe that we do have to use new and innovative method to reach our student. I came from a system where it was more lecture. The teacher would stand up and lecture you, and then at the blackboard. Now it's getting the student involved. Okay. They become. I'm not just the teacher. I'm also the facilitator. So it's a lot of cooperative learning, and it's like seeing what the student also bring to the table, because they themselves come to the classroom with a wide variety of experiences and background, and when they bring that to the table and I bring my portion to the table, we're all learning together. I'm learning from them and they're learning from me. So it's that type of relationship now. It's not just the teacher teach me, I do my homework. Now it's not just about learning. It's about why are you learning? So when you solve a math problem, it's not just about getting the answer. Why did you get the answer? Can you explain the importance of it? So it's more that type of direction that education is moving into.
Is it more of educating our children rather than training them? Is what you're saying? Yeah. Well,
we're not just teaching them. They're not just sitting in rows and we're teaching. They're involved, and it's like you can even tell them. Sometimes you'll tell them, well, a student might say to me, Miss Badden, I know you taught this. You taught it this way, but how about if we try it this way? So it's not like, okay, Johnny, sit down. No, it's okay, Johnny, let's try it your way.
Okay.
So you're open to that type of student involvement. It's crucial in this arena.
And you have more school activities now than you had then, too, because you have field trips, to museums and so forth. You have spelling bee contests, which is challenging and so forth. So these kind of activities outside the classroom.
Learning. Yes, the activities outside the classroom, like in our school, we have the community partners. They do have activities that they work with the students and help them with their homework, take them on different field trips, and so it's a lot more of exposing our children, taking them some time away from this community, taking them other places so they can see and experience other possibilities.
You mentioned about role models and in the community that come into the classroom, so that or not only come into the classroom, but role model teachers in the classroom, so that the students can identify and say, well, I want to be like this person, when I grow up?
Yes. Particularly, in my classroom, I loved to share my experiences with my students. I talk to my students about my successes. I talk to them about my failures. I let them know, this is Miss Badden. I'm not perfect. So even sometimes when things happen in your life that may not be the way how you want it to be, as long as you keep your mind on the prize and you stay focused, you can achieve. If you fall, you can brush yourself off and you can get up again. Failure is my principal, Cassandra would always say, is not an option. And truly, that is my motto. It's not an option.
And I think that was the President of the United States to reiterate that failure is not an option.
Yes, I believe that.
Right.
And so, the goal is for every student to maximize is potential.
Just one last comment before we close this. Boy, it's been a fast segment here, but we're going to have a part 2, 3, and 4, I guess, to talk, talk about some other things related to education. It's unending, really,
Yes.
But one thing before we close is having a complete history taught in schools. We have certain segments of our history that are left out, and when it's a experience for the child to find out that, hey, what I was taught is not the complete history. Like Columbus discovered America, President Washington was the first president of the United States, and you learn the background that we had Articles of Confederation before, and before the president. As a matter of fact, George Washington was probably the 5th president of the United States, this type of thing. But in other words, to get the complete history, more accurate history, would be more beneficial too.
Yes, definitely a part of our history is left out of the history book, primarily African American studies, and even Latinos.
Okay.
That segment is missing from the book. There's always information on Dr. King, of course, but we do have more than Dr. King. I think it's important for students to know that there have been people like them who have been successful so that they also can be successful. A lot of times our kids, you talk to the average African-American young man, what do you want to be when you grow up? Most of them would say, oh, I want to be a basketball star. I want to be a football star, because that's what they see on TV. That is a measure of success. But they need to know that we have had a George Washington Carver. We have had a lot of these inventors in our history that have played a tremendous role in America. They too can be great scientists. They can be lawyers. They can be doctors. It's good for them to know. I
have a book supplement, really, 1001 inventions of Black Americans. But that's a supplement that I have. There's many thousands of other inventions. The filament of the lights was invented by Black. And we go on, stop and go light.
Exactly.
There's so many that just left out. Well, I want to thank you very much for taking time again from your busy schedule. And I'm sure Lake County has been benefited by your presentation, and we have to do this again. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for listening to another awareness session on Community Focus. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host.